Here's a short tutorial on assembling the Jandercraft tabletop adjustable plane stand. This is the kit. This is what you get in the kit. Can be found at jandercraft.com, which forwards to my Etsy store, Jandercraft. And I have a few other style plane stands and some other RC plane accessory parts and accessories there. I'm just gonna, I know you could figure this out on your own pretty easy, but it doesn't hurt to have a jump start. And then I'll show you after this is assembled, I'll show you my planes that fit the dimensions I chose to cut the pipe at, and show you how they fit, and then it gives you perspective on how, what you want to cut your pipes at and your foam, if you have larger planes than mine or smaller. So that's the beauty of the kit, is you can tailor it to your needs. This, like I said, these dimensions I cut for my needs, and then I'll show you, I'll put some planes on it and you'll see. First off, these are the 4 upper cradle arms, you'll see, and these are 4.5 inches. These are the 4 legs, bottom legs. These are 6 inches, and the main pipe, horizontal pipe, is 18. And like I say, it's adjustable, and you'll see that coming up. This is the foam padding. Get the foam padding that is 5/8 inside diameter, not 1/2 inch. Even though the pipe is 1/2 inch, you want the 5/8, so it's just a nice, slides right in, and you don't have to cut it and have it opened up. It fits perfectly. 5/8 inside diameter. 6 feet of it right now at Home Depot is $2.18. This is 1/2 inch, schedule 40. You get 10 feet of it for just under $5, $4.97, I think, $4.96. And I use a PVC pipe cutter. It's like a big scissor. I don't happen to have it handy right now, but I got mine at Harbor Freight. You can get them anywhere. They're cheap, $10, $12. A hacksaw blade would work fine too. With a hacksaw blade, I would deburr my ends so they slide into the sockets nice. And on this particular plane stand, I recommend gluing everything except the rear bracket, because you want it to slide on the bracket so you can adjust it for the size of your planes, the depth of your wings. You'll see that too in the end here. Like I say, I recommend gluing everything, and try to use I guess it doesn't matter in this case. Try to use a glue that doesn't set up like instantly. I wouldn't use PVC cement. I would just use a super glue or any kind of plastic glue. Okay, so I like to start with the caps. Just put a little glue inside the cap. Pop your caps on. Little glue. Goes real fast, it's easy, everything fits nicely. I'll put the caps on the legs. Glue, of course. Doesn't matter which end. Duh, I guess, huh? And then this is the end. This is the end cap for the main cap. Put it on last, and you'll glue this as well. Now we can go main hub, I call it, cradle hub. You'll glue that, put some glue in there, shove her on. And these don't have to be aligned like one of my other stands, 2 of my other stands. There's no worry about alignment. But also I like to put, I run some emery, or not emery cloth, but steel wool over my PVC pipe to get rid of a little bit of that stamping they put on it. And then I do put it on the bottom so it's not visible, just because. We can go ahead and slide the back one on now too. And you want the labels facing out, because these legs tip back, forward or back, as you'll see shortly. Okay, we can go ahead with the legs. A little bit of glue in there. And then on these ones, oh, you won't, yeah, on the legs I like to turn it doesn't matter, I guess, with the labels, but turn them to where they're kind of less visible. I'll show you what I was talking about. You don't really want to put this on backwards. You can, but not how it's meant to be. See, now this is adjustable for little planes or bigger planes. If you've got a real wide wing or deep wing. Okay, so in theory, that's all glued together. And it doesn't matter if that spins. It's supposed to. Don't glue that. Glue that. And now you can glue the end on the main. We'll glue that cap on so it doesn't pop off. Now, the upper, what I call the cradle arms. You'll see how they tilt outward, back and forward. Is this, I consider this the back of the stand, because your prop and your front landing gear is going to be right here. I've seen a couple of guys that have my stands have it backwards, and it hits your front landing gear. So that's the back. Now, all you need to do is slide your foam on. I cut it and leave the cap exposed a little bit. That's just my preference. It might be a better idea to cut it so it's flush. So that, if you have a big fuselage plane, it won't hit that cap. So I probably should have cut them a little longer. But it works for my planes, because my planes aren't big enough to hit those caps. I like to put the little pre-cut down just for aesthetics. And that's how easy it is to assemble. Obviously this isn't glued together, but now, like I say, it's adjustable. And you can push it all the way together and stand it up and put it away in the corner for storage. Or to haul it to the field if you've got benches at your field. Just a little more compact that way. Open it up. Whoop, not glued, duh. And you might be able to get away with not gluing it, but I think you'd end up somehow, maybe dropping your plane. So I recommend gluing it. Except this piece. Do not glue that. I know I'm repeating myself, but I'd hate to see you glue it and be stuck. Unless you don't want to move it. And like I say, you cut all this stuff to fit your needs. Now I'll put some planes on here of mine, what I think are medium-sized planes, anywhere from, which kind of small, my P51 is 850 millimeter wingspan up to a 1400, just so you get an idea. Gendercraft, tabletop, adjustable plane stand. Kit, remember, you buy your own 1/2-inch PVC pipe and you buy your own foam. That saves you on shipping. I don't mind cutting the pipes and all that, but I've weighed it, and the shipping is more than double when it would be just as easy for you to swing by your hardware store and pick up a stick of 1/2-inch and some foam. All right, be right back. I'm going to go small to large. There's my 850 millimeter wingspan P51. Fits beautifully. I could even scoot this up a little bit. Like I said, it's adjustable. If you can see that, the whole thing, close enough. FMS Ranger 1220. Fits beautifully. Perfect. Couldn't ask for better. Here is my 1300 millimeter Piper Cherokee, big fuselage. Fits perfectly. Like I say, that gives you an idea of what these measurements will deal with as far as plane size. And you can see, even with this wide of a fuselage, it's not outside the foam, it's not hitting the caps. I still would probably make these foam pads a little longer, cover those caps. But these dimensions are pretty versatile for size of airplanes. That's a big plane. Big fuselage, in my opinion. Last one. FMS Ranger 1220 with floats. Fits perfectly. Floats don't touch the ground. And all of these planes fit well upside down. Perfect. I really like them. It's a nice design. Simple, light. Even after you buy the foam and the PVC pipe, it's still cheaper than most of the stands out there by the time you pay shipping on them. I lied. One more. Here is my Super Cub 1300 millimeter. Fits perfectly, just like a glove. So there's not too much need for the adjustability, but it's nice to have it. If you have low wing planes that are deep wing, you have that adjustability. And there you have it. Gendercraft tabletop adjustable RC plane stand at gendercraft.com.